Hey y'all, today on the farm we are about to do a seriously dirty job. This is what 250 tons of chicken litter looks like. If you don't know what chicken litter is, it is the material that is on the floor in the big broiler houses where they raise chickens. And after they've raised a couple of crops of chickens, they take the material out, they put fresh material in. This particular material here appears to be sawdust. Down here in the south, you will sometimes see peanut hulls used and sometimes sawdust from the local sawmills. So this house was lined with sawdust, and the reason it's black is because chickens have been living on it. They have been peeing and pooping on it, and so it is now highly, highly fertile. And we're going to take all this chicken litter, we're going to take most of this chicken litter and spread it on this field, and then got somewhere else for a little bit of the rest of it to go. We used to use chicken litter a lot. It used to go on most of the acres on my dad and my brother-in-law's farm, and we spent a lot of time in the late winter, early spring spreading and incorporating chicken litter. But as fertilizer prices and chicken litter prices kind of evened out, used to chicken litter was a lot cheaper, people went back to fertilizer, because with fertilizer you get a guaranteed analysis. With chicken litter, every load may be different, and so it's a little bit different. You don't necessarily get exactly what you need, but chicken litter does put other things back into the soil that you can't buy. You're adding, what I say, you're adding biology to your soil when you use the chicken litter. So there are certain aspects of it that you can't buy at the store for any price. It does things for the soil. They're just miraculous. And so I like the idea of using chicken litter. However, the practice of using chicken litter, not fun. And that brings me to the first task of the day. Behind most farms in the US, you will see loads of equipment lined up out here. A lot of it may be stuff that they used to use, or stuff that they only use sometimes, and in other areas they'll have stuff lined up that they use all the time. But very common to see a lot of equipment lined up behind farms with blackberries growed up all around it, stuff that's in disrepair. And that's because you don't want to get rid of it. You may need something off of it, or there may be a time when you're going to bring it back into use, and that's what we're doing today. We have not spread chicken litter on this farm, I don't know, maybe close to 10 years, somewhere in that ballpark. And so we have a chicken litter spreading truck, a truck designated just for that purpose. Highly specialized vehicle. But since we haven't been spreading chicken litter, it's been parked for 10 years. And so now we got to get it back ready to be in use. Dad and I got the truck fired up yesterday evening, miraculously. And there were some rats living in the engine compartment. So probably gonna be some surprises when we start running it. I did have to remove some large rat nests from the engine compartment, so looking forward to all the electrical surprises we're gonna find. This is a chicken litter spreading truck. You see, it is in need of a bath. We're about to clean it up. The way it works, and this was a 18-wheeler that was converted. There are a lot of different variations of these trucks. This particular one was an 18-wheeler that had the frame stretched and large flotation tires put on the back. Has these drag chains in here, so similar to the way the fertilizer tender you see me pull, it has a section of chains on it with tiny holes in it, and the fertilizer gets in the holes. This one has a section of bars, so the chain is just a series of bars. The litter will fall in between the bars, and the bars are walking out. And how we have this gate open determines how much material is coming out. As it drags out with this drag chain, these spinners will then throw the material out as we drive along. A lot of things like this spinner is loose. We got to tighten up that. May have to put some hoses on it. Various hoses are in rough shape. That chain, drag chain, is obviously stove up. It's been sitting there for 10 years rusting. And just lots and lots and lots of details we got to go over and get dialed in. I worked for a peanut mill in high school, and after I get out of class, I may sometimes have to go deliver a load of seed or pick up something, and they would send me out on a truck like this that requires a CDL. By that time I was a teenager, I didn't have a CDL, so my boss would say, just put your head up high, sit tall in the seat, won't nobody pull you over. And they would send me 20, 30 miles down the road on a commercial truck with no CDL license, and I'd always just put my head up high and sit up tall in the seat. I tell you what's refreshing is having a large farm truck that actually has brakes. I don't think there's another truck on this farm, big truck, that has brakes on it. That smell! Woo, that smell! Lord have mercy, it smells a lot worse than you think it does. A lot worse than you think it does. So, we gotta take into account the wind direction when we park up here, because this stuff actually, once you start moving around, it's got a shell on the outside from where it's rained on it, but once you break that shell open, see it's powdery in there, and that stuff will blow all over the place, and it will stop up the radiator on everything. So you always park with your radiator in the direction the wind's coming from, so when you load, the dust will be blowing away from your truck instead of blowing toward the front and get sucked up and stopping up the radiator. Whenever you spread chicken litter, stopping up radiators on the tractor and the truck, major hazards. Always blowing out radiators constantly when you spread chicken litter. Chicken litter is highly corrosive, so I'm not that thrilled about using this tractor to load it. I just put a new headliner in here and inner fenders for the interior, and I added Mercer a buddy seat in here so he could ride with me. So done a lot of updates to this tractor, and I'm not super excited about throwing it into this highly corrosive litter loading situation, because that is no good. It will rust, litter rust everything it touches. Very important lesson here. The first load, don't fill it up. I got about a half load, a little less than a half a load in here. A little light load, because this truck hadn't been used in years and years. You don't want to fill this sucker up, take off across here, then the drag chain break, and you got to get in and shovel all that out. First-hand experience, I've done that. So, we're not going to load it up and shovel out a whole load by hand. That's no good. So I got a half load. We're going to jump out here, we're going to spread a half load and see if this everything's working correctly and properly. It worked fine when there was no litter in it, but now we're about to find out what happens when there's litter in it. something is not G-hawing with the transmission. It's not shifting right, and on top of that, the PTO is no longer engaging, so it's not unloading. I spread a load and a half, plus that partial. So I reckon I spread 2 loads. But the PTO is no longer staying engaged for whatever reason. Holy smokes. We still got a lot of chicken dookie to spread. But since the truck's not working and it's half loaded, I need to get out here and start incorporating this litter, because once you start spreading it, it's like a fine powder on top of the ground, and the wind will just blow it away. So I got to get it incorporated before it blows away and hits my neighbor's farm. Now we got everything that was spread today covered up, incorporated into the ground. And before I let y'all go, we got 2 more things we got to cover real quick. One, seeing as how the litter truck is now torn up and I have all this litter needs spreading. If you're watching this video and you are a manufacturer of manure spreading equipment, now would be a very good time to call me if you would like your machinery featured in a video. It would be a spectacular time to call me in the next couple of days, because this stuff right here needs to be spread out there and it needs to be done right now. Number 2, if you are local and you've been around here and seen that I have plowed all this field except for what lay right up under this pivot, and you're wondering why haven't I plowed this, and days keep going by and I haven't plowed it, it's because someone stole the wire off of this system. This irrigation cannot be moved because someone stole the wire off of it. Now I'm going to do a little bit of math for the thief. Let's say you live halfway between me and Bluffton on the right side of the road. It costs you $5 in gas to get over here to my field. You are then here, let's say you work for $15 an hour, and you spent your time cutting the wire off the top of this pivot, which means you hauled a big old ladder out here. You got a lot of time invested in this venture. You cut that wire off, you snatch it down, you cut it again down yonder. You then had to take it home. You had to strip the insulation off. You had to cut it in 1 foot lengths. So let's say you miraculously did all that in 1 hour. I doubt it, but let's say you did. That's $15 plus $5 worth of gas to get here, gets you at 20 bucks. It's going to cost you another $15 worth of gas to get to Dothan where you plan on selling it. So now you're at $35. The cost of copper wire right now at the recycling place in Dothan is around $2.50 to $2.75 per pound. If we calculate a number of feet you have here and guesstimate what it weighs per foot, you're going to make about $25, and it costs you more than that to steal the wire. So you're going to be in the hole for the wire you stole. And on top of that, when we press charges against you, the little bit of money that you thought you made stealing the wire is not what you're going to get charges pressed against. The charges are going to be for the replacement cost. And the replacement cost on that section of wire is over $2,000, which means it was a felony. So you committed a felony for something that didn't even turn a profit. Good gracious. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed the video today. I hope y'all learned a little bit about incorporating chicken litter into the soil as a more organic way to grow our crops. Is better than any fertilizer we can buy in the store. I thank all y'all for watching. I hope to see you next time.